Changes to the 49ers quarterback room right before I take off to Phoenix here from San Francisco. They have waived Adrian Martinez, QB3 this year from the 53-man roster. However, I would expect them to re-sign Adrian Martinez, if nobody poaches him, back to the practice squad early next week. So it's only going to be Brock Purdy and Mac Jones, QBs 1 and 2, now that Purdy is back as the starter against the Arizona Cardinals tomorrow. Adrian has been fantastic for the 49ers in that QB room. You hear San Francisco talk so much about all the three quarterbacks this year being around the same age. They all get along. They've created a healthy vibe in that room. Adrian got his one NFL snap as the kneel down against the New York Giants. When Mac Jones subbed himself out, Kyle Shanahan didn't even know about it. And Adrian got to get into the NFL game for the first time because his teammate was taking care of him. So obviously the relationship there is good. 49ers needed a roster spot for Clelin Ferrell, who had been on the practice squad. Now he's promoted to the 53-man roster, so Martinez temporarily will not be on the team for this one game against the Arizona Cardinals. Speaking of Clelin Ferrell, he had used 2 of his 3 practice squad elevations. You could do those temporarily. So the 49ers were going to have to move him up to the 53-man roster anyway next week. So they just do that a week early. And Adrian Martinez, if they're able to re-sign him to the practice squad, he has 1 elevation left in case they do need that at some point to close out this 2025 season. So just some roster shuffling dynamics there. A little bit more on the quarterback position here in a bit. I know that I want to make this a quarterback update because we can talk about Mac Jones' potential trade value this offseason. That's been one of the hot topics this week. But the last roster move that the 49ers made on this Saturday, Eli Apple, the veteran corner, has been in the league for about a decade. Eli Apple is being elevated for the 2nd time this year from the practice squad. That is because Lenoir is questionable for the 49ers. That's the calf injury, and he's going to undergo an MRI for San Francisco. Might have already undergone it, actually. This is a clue that potentially Lenoir won't be available, but I don't think it's a slam dunk hint toward that direction because they could still be unsure. They could still be waiting for Lenoir to sleep on it here Saturday night, see how he feels on Sunday. And then if Eli Apple isn't needed, then it could be like Sebastian Valdez last week, elevated from the practice squad, but not active on Sunday. So today's the day the 49ers had to make that elevation just in case Lenoir is not available for them on Sunday. And it's Apple, the veteran, who will be out there if Lenoir can't be, not as a starter. It's going to be Darrell Luter Jr. as the starting cornerback. Every time I talk about corners, I like to show you guys Alcatraz, Lockdown Island. Well, 49ers will have to try to lock down a decimated Arizona receiving crew. No Marvin Harrison Jr. for this team, no Zay Jones, no Simi Fehoko. It might have to be Renardo Green and Darrell Luter Jr. as the 49ers' 2 top corners in this game. But let's talk a little bit more about the 49ers quarterback room, because Mac Jones has played so well for San Francisco. What would he potentially fetch this offseason? Because remember, the 49ers were able to sign him to a 2-year deal, not just a 1-year deal. We're used to these quarterback bridge contracts or backup quarterback bridge contracts just being 1-year deals, but I think that the 49ers might even have a tacit agreement. I'm not sure about this, but it seems to be that there's an unspoken bind between the 49ers and Mac Jones that if he auditioned well this year, and he did have the opportunity to do that, and he did very well in that. He's number 11 QBR over his 11 starts, or over his 8 starts, 5-3. That's the 49ers record in those starts. If that did happen, there would be an opportunity for Mac Jones to start elsewhere. And if the 49ers still had him under contract for that 2nd year, they'd be able to recoup some real trade value for him. Now, if he had just been a one and done kind of guy and he had left in free agency, the 49ers might be eligible to gain a compensatory pick, but the highest you're going to get in the compensatory formula is a low 3rd rounder. It's not going to come until the year after. If you have a quarterback still under contract, you can trade him away like the 49ers traded away Alex Smith back in 2013 to the Kansas City Chiefs for a 2nd round pick. I think best case scenario, Mac Jones, who's played better than a lot of starters in this league, goes somewhere for a 2nd round pick in 2025. 2026. And the 49ers would get that in the 2026 draft. Now, that's the very best case scenario. And I think that if the 49ers are offered that this offseason, they will jump at it. There is talk of any day 2 pick being something that's potentially on the table. So that would mean either second or third rounder, and maybe a third rounder is a more realistic place to start. But as these things always do, it relies on supply and demand. Who's going to need a quarterback? Who's going to need a quarterback like Mac? I think that he's shown a lot of toughness. He's shown accuracy. He's shown a little bit of mobility this year. He's played his best football, even better than that rookie season in New England. And the fact that he has put that on tape over about half a season, over 8 games with the 49ers, makes a potential opportunity for the 49ers to be handsomely rewarded on that trade market. Now, the 49ers still have about half of this season left to play. And tomorrow is going to be the first part of this next chapter. We're going to see how Brock Purdy feels, how Brock Purdy plays, and Mac Jones might still be needed in this 2025 season. So this chapter, the first chapter, it probably could still be revisited moving forward, because I don't think that everything is determined yet for San Francisco and Mac Jones in this stage of his career. And depending on how this all ends up, if he gets a couple more starts and impresses even more, or maybe he gets a start and doesn't look as good, that's going to determine his value on the market, and in this case, the trade market in 2026. So this is still a living, breathing story, but it is an asset for the 49ers, and it's part of a larger quarterback room that's done a lot of good so far this year for San Francisco. Purdy, Jones, Adrian Martinez. Look, there's a big ship coming in here through the Golden Gate in the San Francisco Bay. Do you see it? Big cargo ship. Went under the bridge. Now it's moving over toward the port of Oakland. That is the international commercial trade market. We're talking about the NFL trade market before we fly down to the desert, where I guess the skies are also overcast in Arizona. 49ers are about field goal favorites over the Cardinals. Obviously a huge juncture of this season. San Francisco can potentially rip off a few wins here, but the hardest challenge over the next month is probably this game against the Arizona Cardinals. And the waters right now are the murkiest that they've been in a while, because we haven't seen Brock Purdy on that field in about a month and a half. We haven't seen Ricky Pearsall in about a month and a half, and there are questions about Lenoir and his availability for tomorrow. The Cardinals, though, have a ton of questions as well. You guys hear that foghorn? I know that I paused for like 5 seconds. That foghorn means that the ship is making its way through. Hopefully you guys heard that. Otherwise, it was just an awkward 5-second silence. But the foghorn is off. That means that we've hit 8 minutes on this video. I think 8 is about the right amount of time to go, because I got to catch a flight. I've got to head down to SFO for 49ers Cardinals in the desert. The homecoming for Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall. So many of the questions that we have will begin to be answered. But again, roster moves for the 49ers. Adrian Martinez not on the team for this weekend. They'll hope to bring him back to the practice squad. Clelin Ferrell gets the promotion from that practice squad to the 53-man roster. That's a big pay bump for Clelin Ferrell. And the emergency elevation is Eli Apple, the veteran cornerback, who might be able to give the 49ers some depth if Lenoir is unable to go. 49ers offense needs to find a way to drive this victory. And if they do it, they'll be 7-4. We will see you guys in the desert.